Hey everyone, this is Anshul Sadaria, Software Engineer 3 at Google and
I'm Soumya, software engineer at Red Hat and an educator.
Tier 1. Without this programming language, the world will go on fire. Tier 2. This programming language is very close to our hearts. Tier 3. Would love to code in this programming language any day. If this was the last programming language remaining, I would not mind coding in it. Tier 5. Not sure why this programming language even exists. Ladies first.
Never do that to me, you go.
Okay. Wow, Python to start with. It is such a multi-dimensional language. It has so many applications. Like you can do data processing, you can do web development, machine learning, deep learning, and so on. It's very easy to start with. Let's say if some beginner who is not having a background in software engineering, it's a very easy language for them to get ramped up with. You don't even require any experience in software engineering and begin their data analytics, data science, or any application that they want to get started with. Second thing about this language is that it's one of the most oldest and popular programming language. So there are so many resources available online which people can refer to. If I tell you my story in the college in few of the last semesters, I was trying to build an application. I was trying to build a project around machine learning. So I wanted to work with stock market APIs. So I just Googled it up for Python APIs and I got so many resources people had worked in. So this is an amazing programming language with so many applications around. I think this is where my heart is. What do you have to say about Python?
Talking about Python, I think Anshul, the language is simple. The syntax is also pretty much easy to grasp in, especially it's awesome for beginners. But what I feel is it can lead to runtime errors because it is dynamically typed language, right? And if we talk about multi-threading concept in programming, in Python, multi-threading is not exactly true multi-threading because of GIL, that is Global Interpreter Log. And also I have observed that Python is more seen on the server side and not much on the client side. So I think maybe we can put it in fourth category.
What? Really? If this was the last programming language remaining, only then you would code in it? Tell that to so many machine learning models which don't survive without Keras, TensorFlows, and PyTorch libraries. Flask, Django, are you hearing? She is saying that if it was the last programming language remaining, only then she would code in it. There are so many applications which can be built using Python. Without Python, do you think you would be able to develop machine learning models and deep learning models so efficiently?
Okay, then maybe we can put Python in category 3. That is, we would love to code in this language on any day, right?
Yep, definitely.
Awesome. So here goes Python. So next, should I pick in? Okay.
Definitely.
Cool. So let's pick the next shit. And oh, Java. This
Your
is
favorite programming language.
exactly. This is one of my favorite programming languages because I have written so many software, so many applications in this language only. Though I understand for beginners it might be a bit complicated to learn and because it's syntax wise quite heavy. But anyhow, that doesn't reduce its significance in the tech domain, right? And talking about the applications built in the world, so many popular ones are still built in and written in Java, right? So I would say because based on my experience, it's one of the finest language apart from the complicated syntax. I feel I would rate it somewhere in category 1. What's your thought on this?
Obviously, it's your favorite programming language, so you are going to keep it in the lit category. But if you don't mind, I have some cons in mind which I would like to share.
Sure.
Yeah. So what I feel is that it's a slower programming language because it gets interpreted during runtime and it takes some time to for execution.
Yeah.
Right. And talking about memory management as well, like even though there are some automatic libraries for memory management, it doesn't expose functions like free and delete to the programmers to operate around it. Again, what I think is because Java works on top of Java virtual machine,
Yeah.
it occupies a lot of memory as well. But as you correctly mentioned, it's a legacy language and people don't want to migrate away from it. So definitely it's close to their hearts. So what do you think?
Okay, so maybe we can put it in category 2, right?
Yep, I feel so.
Yes, okay. This language is so close to the heart of programmers, so here we go and put it in Category 2. Perfect. So now your turn.
JavaScript. So what I feel is that JavaScript is one such language which will follow you everywhere. Everywhere you see on the internet, JavaScript is going to be there.
True.
Also, JavaScript is a client-side programming language, so it reduces a lot of loads from the servers. You can do some tasks like data validation and so on, so that you don't need to send packets to the server every time to perform such trivial tasks. Apart from that, the open source community for JavaScript is so amazing. People are building so many frameworks on top of JavaScript. For example, Angular, React, Node, Express, and so on. People trust JavaScript as a programming language. So without doubt, I don't need to go on and on about the pros of JavaScript. I think we should definitely put it in the lit category. Just imagine, without JavaScript, wouldn't the world actually be on fire?
Okay, I feel, Anshul, like every cloud has a silver lining and every coin has two sides, right? So talking about JavaScript, different browsers interpret JavaScript in a different way, right? So the JavaScript developers, when they ship any product, when they ship any application or do the release, I think they need to be very careful that they run that on variety of platforms, because as I said, it is interpreted in a different way in different browsers, right? And also one more thing is the older web browsers, they don't support some of the features, some of the functionalities of JavaScript. So that's where the JS developers, they need to be very careful if they are writing code in JavaScript. But yeah, apart from all these little drawbacks, I feel yes, we can put it in category 1. So let me do that. Here is your JavaScript and it goes in the category 1. Awesome. So now we have to choose the next language. Yeah, let me do that. PHP. Okay, so I know why you laughed, but yeah, see, I know it's very old language. No, you don't need to do that. I know it's very old language, and nowadays so many new programming languages, so many technologies, frameworks are here with awesome features, but old is gold, no? I mean, it can be downloaded anywhere, and it is compatible with lot many operating systems, with Windows, Unix, Linux, everything. And the beauty of it is it's open source and almost free to use, and the community is also pretty much good. But again, I mean, I observed your expressions and you want to say that we can't put it in the top categories, though I agree that it has taken a back seat. What's your thought?
I mean, you mentioned old is gold. I'm not sure if this old is gold or not. And as you correctly mentioned, this programming language has definitely taken the back seat. I'm not sure if it has any seat at all at the moment, because wherever I look around, the applications which are built using PHP, those are lightweight applications. If we look at today's world, the heavyweight applications are usually supported by programming languages like Java, JavaScript, which can bear such big loads. And apart from that, as a developer, what I would love is that a programming language offers me some debugging capabilities. So having worked with programming languages like Java and C++, which offer me a lot of debugging freedom, I don't think PHP has any stand anywhere near Java or C++. Honestly speaking, I don't even know if it deserves any category in this tiers or not, but for the sake of putting it, I don't know why this programming language even exists.
Okay, so you mean the last category, right?
Definitely.
I somewhere agree, so here it go in the category 5. Perfect. And now is the time to choose the next language.
My eyes are lit looking at this programming language.
C++?
Yeah, definitely it's my favorite programming language and there are no guesses about it. I am going to keep the points very crisp and clear. One word, fast execution. I have worked with C++ so much. Having used it widely in competitive programming, I know one thing. I'm not comparing between different languages, but having worked with Java, Python, C++ and programming languages of this category, C++ is the fastest one among them. The reason is before using C++, you need to compile the language. It is not an interpreted language. So when you compile, you avoid a lot of runtime errors as well, and it's faster to execute. And again, since you compile it, the compiled binary doesn't occupy a lot of memory as well. Also, C++ is an object-oriented programming language. So I can create lots of classes, interfaces, create objects among them, and create applications which are modular. That's the reason why I love C++ so much. It's very close to my heart.
But I hate pointers.
Pointers. That's a really good pointer.
I mean, pointer concept in C++, it's indeed a tough one, especially for beginners. It's very difficult to grasp this concept. And I mean, I started with C++, as you know, my tech career and all, I started with C++, but it consumes a lot of memory, right? And at the same time, in C++, there is no garbage collector which can automatically clean the unnecessary data, which can automatically filter out the data. So I feel, yeah, I mean, all languages have some merits and demerits. So maybe we can put it in the second category.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And having talked about pointers, I want to share one experience of mine, like one of my corporate experience. So I have debugged a lot of issues because of null pointer. Like the pointer is null, and hence all the jobs start crashing again and again. So I completely agree with you that pointers is one such demerit of C++ which I hate as well. To be honest, I don't feel comfortable using pointers.
Yes, and if we misuse any of the pointers like wildcard or something, the application might crash as well.
Exactly. But we can agree that it's close to our hearts because of a lot of merits of its own.
So I'm going to put it in category 2, okay?
Yep.
Perfect. So, yes, Java and C++ both are in category 2. Sorted?
Yep.
Okay, so let me pick the next one. Swift. Okay, so I have a little bit of experience writing code in Swift. It is used for developing iOS applications. And do you know, I'm not sure if in 2015 you were around tech. In 2015, by Stack Overflow Developer Survey, it was one of the most loved language. What makes it special is its clean and neat piece of code. It's very easy to read, maintainable as well. Now, for iOS applications, no, this Swift is used as well as Objective C is also used. Why it is better than Objective C? It's because of it takes less line of code, and it's like way more crisper and shorter as compared to Objective C. Very much like same story as in Java and Kotlin. What are your thoughts on this?
I think Swift is not my expertise, so I'm out of it. But having known some things about this programming language, what I feel is that it's a relatively younger programming language, and hence it lacks a lot of authentic sources on the internet. Also, like as I mentioned, I'm no expert like coding in Swift, but I was having a chat with a friend of mine who is an iOS developer. So he told me that Swift doesn't support some of the earlier versions of iOS, and since it supports only iOS development, what I feel is that like it's a big con that it doesn't support cross-platform capabilities. So what do you think? I mean, if it was the last programming language remaining, only then I would have used this particular programming language, because there are so many alternatives to that, like React Native, Flutter. I could definitely have used either one of them because of their other merits.
So you want me to put it in category 4?
I mean, there are better options. I would definitely love to use them instead of Swift. But I am no expert. I mean, I would prefer your technical opinion rather than me talking about some of the facts I have heard from somewhere else.
Okay, so like if you go in the iOS domain now, so for iOS developers, it's Lifesaver. So I think we should put it in category 3. That is, at least they would love to code in this language any day, right?
Definitely.
So I'm putting it in category 3. That is, the at least iOS developers would love to code in this language on any day, right?
Definitely.
So let's pick up the next language.
As developers, we love to call it as SQL, but it's actually SQL, Structured Query Language. I can't imagine a world in which SQL doesn't exist. Can you imagine databases getting created, like databases which want to store structured data without SQL? I honestly cannot. Like SQL is used for fast query processing on large amount of data. Also, I don't think C++ is actually a programming language, it's an interactive language. People don't actually require any programming skills like for loop, while loop, if conditions, and so on. It's very much similar to English if we look at it in that way. Like, for example, select X from table T, where condition C and condition D, and so on. It's so much similar to English that people don't actually need to know computer science fundamentals or understand any of the programming terminology. So for that reason, I strongly believe. Also, for like the query optimization is obviously amazing, and there are so many frameworks which are built on top of SQL like Scala, Hadoop, and so on, which can increase the performance even more. Without SQL, I feel the latencies around the world will shoot remarkably.
Because I'm also a developer and I also have done backend stuff. So indeed, I won't disagree with what you said just now. It has saved me multiple times, and I also use SQL a lot, SQL. So I think, yeah, we can put it in category one because it's like obviously lit, and without this, backend developers can't do anything, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, NoSQL does exist, but for structured data and fast query processing, I think there is no alternative to SQL at the moment.
Yeah, and it is used to interact with the relational databases. So putting it in the category one. Perfect.
Now, let's pick the next programming language.
Okay, this is fantastic. Kotlin. I have written many applications in Kotlin in second year of my engineering when I was mentoring the pre-university students in Google Coding. So there were Android applications. They were like written in mix of Java and Kotlin, and like most of the issues, most of the features were around recreating the features from Java to Kotlin. Kind of they were migrating the entire code base from Java to Kotlin. So I have like pretty much good amount of experience developing applications in Kotlin, and like when I started writing applications in Kotlin now, I realized that I mean Java is little bit complex. I mean not little bit. In Kotlin, you can write the same piece of code in just 3 to 4 lines. In Java, might take like 8 to 12. So Kotlin is literally way more simpler. It's easy to read. There is no semicolon or any such stuff. It's like aesthetically typed language, unlike Java, which is a strictly typed language. So yeah, for Android app developers, I think Kotlin is a lifesaver. It gives an awesome experience to the developers when they are writing applications, unlike Java, where though it's my favorite language, but like as compared to Kotlin, it's a bit complex syntax wise. Your thoughts on it?
I mean, I just have one question to you. Like, is Kotlin used only for Android development? Can't it be used for iOS development?
I mean, see, I have written code in Kotlin mainly for Android applications. For iOS development, mostly Swift and Objective C is used. And when you talk about Android application, Java and Kotlin are the two heavily used languages there. So yeah, I mean, you can't develop iOS using Kotlin. So.
Okay. So what I feel about like Kotlin is a younger language as compared to Java, definitely. So it's not going to be as mature as Java. So one can expect a lot of updates now and then. And as a developer, it would be a really bad experience for me if I need to keep learning new things very frequently. Also, as you mentioned that Kotlin is woven around Java. So the speed of Kotlin is definitely going to be relatively lesser as compared to Java, right? Right? So what I feel is that like since it's a young language, there is definitely going to be lack of authentic sources and so on. But I would definitely love to code in Kotlin any day because like as you mentioned, like without for Android development, Kotlin is a big time saver. So I would not mind coding in Kotlin any day if an opportunity arises.
Yes, I mean, obviously putting it in category 3 is a good decision of yours. But let me tell you, like you mentioned one point that in Kotlin, as developers, you would be like learning many new stuff now and then. So in software engineering domain itself, I mean, if we are software engineers in any domain, no, web development, app development, anything, as developers, I mean, I read one survey as well, like this is one such profession where we have the highest learning curve. I mean, we
Learning
have
never ends.
exactly,
True. Yeah.
exactly. So okay, let's put it in category 3. Here we go. And now is the time to pick up the next language.
I will give you a hint. It is part of the family of C languages.
C sharp.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So, since it's part of the C family of languages, the pros of C sharp are also going to be almost similar to like C++ and so on. So, speed, object oriented programming, and so on, all of these features are a part of C sharp as well. On top of that, what I feel is that C sharp has good memory management as well. Like it's automatic. You don't need to worry about freeing the memory from your applications. Also, since the community of C sharp developers is quite big, the resources are almost easily accessible. What do you think?
Okay, like I haven't written any like big real world application in C sharp, but based on my little experience, because during engineering I developed some mini projects using this language. Whenever we make any change in the code, we have to kind of recompile it all over again, right? I don't like that thing much. Yeah.
I mean, compilation is the trademark of C family of languages. That's what makes it faster and more memory efficient. So, like also what I have observed is that this programming language is used predominantly in game development as well. As you mentioned, obviously Android development, but apart from that, obviously it's used in game development a lot. So I think if this language is not part of the world, the gamers are going to put the world on fire. But having said that, I would use this language only if this was the last programming language remaining. So category 4 for me.
I completely agree. So putting it in category 4. Awesome. And now is the time to pick up the next language. Do you want to guess it?
I can't. I honestly can't, having talked about so many programming languages.
Okay, it's like a very new language and people are talking a lot about it.
Is it Carbon?
No.
Is it younger than that or older than that?
Older than that.
Okay, then my guess would be Golang.
Yes, your guess is absolutely right. So, talking about Golang, when I was doing this 6 month software engineering internship at Red Hat, apart from some web dev related issues, I was also given like 2 to 3 small feature issues that was purely in Golang. For that, I took some like quick course in Golang. So, from that little experience, what I have felt is Golang is very simple syntax wise. Like the course was really very quick and it's almost like similar to other programming languages. Those fundamental programming concept like if, else, while, all those, they are almost similar, and syntax wise it's pretty much cool and simple. I think it's going to be one of the favorites of developers in near future, and like in 2022-23 as well. Many people are using this Golang heavily, and if you see on the internet like on tech Twitter or maybe on LinkedIn as well, there are so many communities as well, tech communities of Go developers. What are your thoughts and experiences around it?
I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with Golang, but I have worked a little bit for some of my programming. I honestly didn't feel a lot of comfort going through that programming language. Having come from a strong background of C++, you would find it a little bit strange because you would be like, hey, it's similar to C++. How did you find it uncomfortable? So my answer is I am not sure what did I do wrong while going through the programming language, but to be honest, I didn't have a very fruitful experience with Golang. Also, like as you mentioned, that it's a young programming language, so there is always going to be a crunch for good documentation, good resources available online, for example Stack Overflow and so on. So what I feel is that being a new programming language, there are some other programming languages which have picked up a niche. For example, Kotlin is used for Android development, Swift is used for iOS development, and so on. And this particular language doesn't have a clear niche which programmers can say that, okay, hey, I want to use Golang to do this. So I find this a little bit disturbing. So I am not sure why I would use this programming languages when there are some great competitors of this programming language. But having said that, I really don't mind using it if this was the last programming language remaining.
That is category 4, right?
Yeah, what are your thoughts? I mean, would you use it?
I think yes, we can put it in the category 4. One quick question I wanted to ask is, like in Google as well, I have heard like many internal teams work on Golang. Like, do you have any idea about that?
I mean, they do, but I am not sure which like teams work on that. I don't really have a lot of experience because the work that I am doing, it's distributed over Golang, Java, and C++. But the domain that I have picked up, it's predominant in C++. So I just had to read some code and do some debugging for Golang. I don't have a lot of experience. What specific niche in Google people are coding Golang for?
Okay, sounds good. So let's put it in category 4. Yeah.
Yep, I think so.
Okay, here we go in category 4 and done. So I guess our like tier list is almost ready, no?
Yep, it looks good to me. So in this video, we ranked some of the most popular languages that we have worked with based upon our experience and our opinion. If you were given an opportunity to tier rank these programming languages, what would your ranking be like? Mention it in the comment section below.
And also tell us your favorite programming language. But before that, make sure you check out our free masterclasses by industry leading experts on Scalers event page. Link is in the description.
If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Scalar's YouTube channel. And if you never want to miss on any of the notifications, hit the bell icon.
See you next time.